Hi, everyone. What a way to start. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks also to everyone who is already typing in the chat where you're from and your Etsy shops. This is super cool to see. I see some fellow Pennsylvanians here. So definitely feel free to keep answering the question of who you are, what your Etsy shop name is, and where you're tuning in from. Hi, I'm Jordan Danae Ellis. I work at Adobe on Adobe Express. I've been here for about 3 years, and I've had kind of an interesting journey of how I've gotten here. But my creative journey started with an Etsy shop back in 2011. Um, I love that Etsy made creating really accessible. And so for me, it was a really, honestly, just an idea of like doing something in my spare time. I was living in New York and nannying, and I just needed to like make something with my hands and wanted something to do, honestly, just in my nights and weekends. And so a friend recommended setting up an Etsy shop, which I had no business doing, but that's kind of the beauty of Etsy, is that you don't have to be an expert in e-commerce and building a website and all of these things. It just kind of lets you get started, which is really beautiful. So I have been off and on running my own business part-time and full-time for the past, 2011, 13 years, which has led me into working at Adobe on Adobe Express, which is something that I'm going to talk about today. One of Adobe's like quick and easy tools for anyone who needs to make things. So there's kind of a perfect partnership between Adobe Express and Etsy. If, we're all pretty strapped for time and all just kind of trying to do everything as fast as possible while maintaining our sanity. So I'm really excited to share a little bit about Adobe Express today. A few things. This is all being recorded, so if I'm moving a little too fast or you miss anything, don't worry. This email of the recording will go out to you in the next 24 hours. And we also have a Q&A. So I'll keep the Q&A and the chat open, but definitely drop your questions in the Q&A. Those will stand out a little more. The chat, I love, is really vibrant. So definitely, if you have questions, drop them in there and I'll answer them as I go along if it makes sense, or I'll answer them at the end if they're like a little bit off topic. Also, really quickly, my handle is at Jordan Danae Ellis. So if you have any questions, whether you're watching the replay or watching it live, or questions in a month or a year, my entire job is hanging out and helping folks learn how to make the things they need to make. So I will be your go-to for any questions Adobe Express related, or I'll try to answer any like small business Etsy questions as well. So with that, here is my Etsy shop that has gone through so many iterations. This is the current version of it, which is paused because my Adobe job, thankfully, is giving me a lot to do. So I hope that I can come back and open it up maybe around the holidays or maybe over the summer just for fun. But yeah, I've had so many different iterations of photos, banners, listings. We'll go through some of those. It's really cool how easy it is to keep leveling up what you're working on, which is exactly what we're talking about today. So in the next hour, we're going to talk about 3 easy ways to update your shop with Adobe Express. So first, I'm going to show some ways to level up your photos. Some of you may be pro photographers. Some of you may be taking photos for the very first time for your listings. And so wherever you are in that, hopefully some of these tools will help you out and just help you edit your photos faster and make them look a little better. Next, we're going to talk about updating your shop assets. So like I said, I've gone through probably like 3 or 4 different iterations of my branding since starting my Etsy shop. So if you have a logo that you love, I'll show how to like maybe change up your banner, or if you're looking for a new logo, I'll show some easy ways to make an updated version in Express. And then part 3 is where I want to spend the most time, which is creating your social content, because that's something that everyone needs to do. If you have your photos on lock, if you have your branding set, we all need to promote our shops. So I'm going to talk about my favorite ways to use Express to do that a little bit faster. And again, whether you already have a content plan set up and maybe some of these suggestions will help you out, or whether you're starting for the very first time, I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways to do that. So I'm here talking mostly about Adobe Express, which is Adobe's quick and easy create anything app. I love it. I don't have a professional design background by any means. I learned everything that everything that I did for my Etsy shop, and now at Adobe, I've learned from YouTube, I've learned from asking other people, and I've learned from just trying things and seeing what works. So if that's also you, Express is something that anyone can pick up and use really easily. And even if you are, again, a pro designer, there are lots of fun ways that you can put this into your workflow to make some things faster and easier and do some really cool tricks that I'm excited to show you. We are not at the Q&A yet. So something that is really cool as a thank you for being here is that Etsy and Adobe Express have created an offer for you all that you get, which is 3 months of our premium version. So there's a fully free version of Express that you can use, and the premium version just has some more features that are cool and exciting. So you can have access to that. We'll drop the link. I'm sure you'll have it in the RSVP email as well. But just wanted to call out that you can all use absolutely everything that I'm showing you today. Thanks for the love in the chat. This is so lovely. If you see me looking to the side, that's where that's where you all are. So this is the homepage of Adobe Express. If you have never seen this before, here it is. You can head to it at express.adobe.com. There is a desktop version, which is this, and also a mobile version. So if you prefer working on your phone, you can absolutely do that. Or what I do a lot of times is start something on my computer and then pick it up on my phone if I have a template that I'm working in, or have, a social project that I like laying things out on my desktop. It's just a little easier for me. But then sometimes I need to snap photos on the go in my studio, whatever. And so it can sync between both. And just a little bit of orientation here. If you already have an Adobe account, you can sign in with the account that you already have. And then Express will also sync with all of your Creative Cloud libraries and things like that. So if you've already set up a brand for yourself, and you already have assets saved in maybe Lightroom, which I'm going to talk about, or Photoshop or Illustrator, you can pull all of those things together. And if you're brand new to Adobe, welcome. You can sign up for a brand new account. And again, it'll sync between desktop and your phone. So the main thing that Adobe Express does is helps you make whatever you need to make quickly and easily. And something that I think is really powerful about it is that it is really accessible, but also can do a whole lot. So we can use video, we can use animation, we can use all types of things that, again, I'll show you. But it's a nice way where even if you like designing in Photoshop, you can add these kind of multimedia components really easily to level up your social posts. So you can start from content you already have. If you create in Photoshop, Illustrator, even InDesign, you can pull those in. Or you can create from any of the templates that are here. This is my favorite way to create in Express. And I'll show you some templates that we've set up specifically for Etsy so that you have all of that. Yeah, so you can use your Illustrator document just by hitting start from your content. You can open Photoshop, Illustrator files. You can also see all of the options hitting our little plus sign, import from other apps. So you can import directly from, again, Adobe tools, but also there are instructions to pull in from other apps as well. If you want to pull in a PowerPoint, my opening slides were in Express Slides. You can pull in from all of these different apps and even some of your storage like Dropbox or Google Drive, things like that. Trying to make it nice and easy for you to get started. Here at the top are just a little bit of orientation. Again, some of the main things that you may want to do. So I'll show a few of my favorite tips for photo editing with generative AI, but I just wanted to quickly at the top explain that if you are aware or if you aren't, everything that is generative AI in Adobe is powered by Adobe Firefly. And the most important thing about that is that our model is trained on our own stock images and open source content that we have the rights to. So everything is designed to be commercially safe. That's important so that anything you use with generative AI in Adobe Express, in Photoshop, if you play in Firefly directly, it's all designed to be commercially safe so you can use it in your Etsy shop, in your photos, whatever you want. So wanted to give that caveat at the beginning. We also have some quick actions, which are just like quick and easy ways to do things like maybe if you have a video and you want to convert it to a GIF for social, or make a QR code, remove the background of a photo, caption a video. These are all literally one-click things that are right here on the homepage for you, so you can explore those. And that is a little bit of orientation. Yeah, this is all super easy to use, and I want to get started with some photo editing. So I'm actually curious in the chat if anyone uses Lightroom. We could do a whole hour on Lightroom, which we're not going to do. But this is one of my favorite Adobe tools outside of Express, super powerful for editing photos. And you can also import your Lightroom photos into Express. So, okay, cool. We have some Lightroom users here. There's a really easy mobile app. You can also use it on desktop. Same thing, syncs across. So for our Lightroom users, if you have a library set up, I'm going to show how you can pull in photos. But if you want to pull in just your regular photos as well from your camera or your desktop, you can also use that. So here is a fully blank page in Adobe Express. This is what the editor looks like. Again, because it's intended to be easy to use, basically as you hover over things, tells you what they do. So if you ever get lost, everything should be pretty self-explanatory. We have, so everything, again, Lightroom, Photoshop, this all links. And I want to pull in a photo to edit for my listing. I'm actually going to use one of my old photos from like 10 years ago. So if I wanted to use just a photo from my camera roll, my desktop, I can go straight to upload. I want to use one of my Lightroom photos just to show how that works. So in your stuff, if I scroll all the way over to the right, this is all of my projects that already exist in Express. So I have all of those here. Yours will be empty if you're using it for the first time. I can scroll over to Lightroom Photos and browse all of my photos. So here is the folder that I was just looking at over in Lightroom. And I'm going to import a photo of me from probably 10-ish years ago. This was my original setup. I wish that I had the tools that I have today when I started my Etsy shop so long ago, because editing my photos used to take me forever. I lived in Brooklyn at the time, so I had a tiny studio apartment and would pull out this like white backdrop so I could do the very little that I knew how to do in Photoshop, and just kind of try to like make this work. Cropping it in, expanding out the edges, doing all of these things. And there are so many easy and powerful editing tools for all of your listing photos right in Express. So clicking on this photo, I can do a couple things in adjustments. I can, edit any of like these kind of simple sliders, contrast, brightness, shadows, all of the things that we love playing with. Can do any edits I want. I already have this like kind of decent, so I'll keep it like this, but just wanted to show that all of these photo editing tools are right here in adjustments. But something that I love using, and again, would have absolutely loved having this forever ago when it took me hours to edit each photo, is, like I was mentioning, we have some generative AI options, which lets you remove things from photos. So this is great for if you're taking photos outside and there's something you don't want in your background, or I used to take photos on the streets of New York all the time, and sometimes there would just be like a sign that I didn't want or something distracting. In this case, it's all the extra bits of my apartment that don't look great. So here in the remove object option, it's just giving me a brush that I can brush out anything that I don't want in my photo. So I'm going to increase the size and brush out the entirety of this like extra bit of my apartment here. This again, back in this decades old setup, I would have to like pull in this white background so that I could try to give myself a horizontal image that I could use for my listing. And by hitting remove, this is using Powered by Firefly, taking the image and trying to remove the things that I've hovered over. So you can see here, it's this like holographic rainbow. And here we go. It looks like we have 3 different options every time we generate. It looks like I maybe missed a little bit in this first one. This one's looking a lot better. And I think this second one is the one I'm going for. So I can choose whichever one I want, hit keep. And now I have this like full white background, which is so much nicer than what I started with. I can always go in and like keep going and remove that little bit of a seam here. But this is a huge time saver for photo editing. So you don't have to retake your photos. Sometimes I would do like overlay shots and there would be something on my desk that I didn't actually want there. So this is a super, super nice way to be able to edit your photos. Now, I want to pull in a second photo. Stephanie, yes, Adobe Express is Mac friendly. I'm using it on my Mac laptop right now, and it's all, there's no download. This is just a web-based app, so there's no, you don't have to download a product at all. So you just use it on, I'm using it on Chrome right now. This is one way to edit photos. I want to show another example. So it's really easy to replace photos as well. I could start a new project, but I'm just going to swap this out. Actually, you know what? I'll start a new project. I'm going to, again, go to my Lightroom photos and pull in a more recent pic from one of my more recent photo shoots and just expand this out. Okay. So I love this photo. It's looking great, but it's not quite right for a listing photo. I need this to be horizontal, and this is like on a brick wall that if I wanted to rebuild this to give me a horizontal layout that I could use for the proper listing size, I don't know how to do that. That's a lot of photo retouching. So I would have to like crop in and then I'd lose part of the shirt that I'm trying to get to. There is a really amazing feature in Express called Resize. So Resize is going to take this vertical image that I have. I can resize it to anything I want. I can choose custom sizes here, or there are tons of presets for all over social. So I could click into any of those as well. I'm going to actually make this the listing size that I want. So I think, tell me if I'm still current on this. I think that is the current Etsy listing size. And something that's brand new in Express is that not only will this give me the new dimensions I want, it's going to use the same tool that I just used to remove that background and actually expand the background that I have here. So I will hit duplicate and resize. Oops. Sorry about that. That's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Actually, I have to hit custom here and expand, and let's hit resize. Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Let me refresh this. And then while that's going, I will answer some of the questions in the chat here. let's see. I want 3,000 by 2250. Here we go. Generative expand is highlighted, and here we go. That's what I was looking for. So it's using that same tech to extend the background here. Matthias is asking, yeah, I could go back in and continue to like edit out the rest of those shadows 100%. We have a lot to go through today, so I didn't spend the time. But yes, you can keep editing each of the photos to make it look more realistic for sure. Is Lightroom better than Photoshop? So there are a lot of different tools that do a lot of different things. Lightroom is really great for photo editing, for doing things like changing the lighting, editing the colors, and Photoshop can do that, but it's also really good for photo compositing. So if I wanted to like create a different version of the photo or merge two different photos. So if you're just doing straight up photo editing, my personal preference is Lightroom. That is what it's geared more towards. You can absolutely use both and use whatever you're most comfortable with. But yes, Lightroom is like the photo editing tool. So definitely check that out. If you have only used Photoshop to edit your photos, it might make your life a little bit easier. And last question that I'll answer right now, I'll get to the rest of them. Yes, in the same way that I removed from the photo before, I can also add more. So I'll show that now. We can do that really quickly. So again, 3 different options. Can choose the one that I think is best. This one looks great. I'll hit keep. And so now I had, a vertical photo that I was going to have to crop in order to be able to use it in a horizontal way. And now I have the horizontal image that I need. One last photo editing tip that I want to show is that I can also remove the background. This is something that I used to, again, try to do all the time 10 years ago, and I would like mask around and it would look terrible. And this happened before I could even finish talking. So if you want to use different backgrounds or specific backgrounds, this is a really nice way to make your shop look really cohesive. And just to showcase one last thing that you can do with generative AI, I'm going to generate a brand new background. So I could pull in a photo. I could use a stock photo because Adobe Express also syncs with Adobe Stock. So I'll show how you can pull in photos, video, and audio, which we had some questions about right in Express. But if I want to generate something new, like maybe an abstract blue cloudy sky, if this matched with my brand, now I can, oh, cool. That happened super fast. Amazing. I can generate something brand new and add this to my background. So now I have a brand new version of this photo. So again, these are just some tips that you can use for your Etsy shop so you could make your listings more cohesive, edit your photos faster, and make them in the sizes that you need. Perfect. Lots of these questions I'm going to be answering next. So this is great. Next up, I want to talk about updating your shop assets. So we've talked about editing photos and how you can make your shop look better with editing your listing photos, but we also need logos. We also need shop banners. And we have already put together some specific templates for you all. This is a partnership between Express and Etsy. So these are specific templates that you can use and edit. We'll drop the link for you. But again, you can always go to all of the templates that already exist in Express. So I could search logo, for example, if I wanted to update my logo. And there are tons, if I search just templates, tons of logo options that are fully editable, just like the photo I just edited. So if I really like the way one of these look, but I want to change the color, obviously I want to swap it out for my own brand name or my own company name, my Etsy shop name. There are tons and tons and tons of logos here. I will show how to edit these that we've already created for you though, like maybe this one. Let's just click into it. It's going to automatically open again in this editor. And now I can change anything I want. So if I want to change the background color, change the shop name, change out these icons, move things around, it's all fully editable. One thing that I want to show that I didn't show yet is in the same way that you can have access to your Creative Cloud libraries, you can also set up brands in Express. So if you're just creating for the first time, you may not have a logo and a color, which is something that you can make in Express. If you already have it, you can, or you know, whether you're working on it or you already have it, you can create a brand super easily, just typing in your brand name and adding all of these things. So I'll show my Etsy shop brand. This is already filled out, but it's some versions of my logo, my color palette, fonts. I have a body and a header font, some templates that I have saved, and then some assets here as well. And just to show a different version, this is something my coworker Kelsey Slay created, which is a cat cafe, or like a cat line. So we have some logos, some colors, some fonts, and some templates and assets saved. So having this all in one place is really nice, because then as I go to edit, I can access the colors and fonts right here without having to like remember the colors that I'm using, remember the fonts that I want. So for example, I can take this template and manually swap out the colors for the ones that I already have. So I'll switch to maybe this cat cafe brand, and I want the background to be this purple. I'll have the icon be this beautiful like cream color. Change the brand name to Clover. And right here in the fonts, I can choose all of my brands as well. So I have the right fonts here. So let's go to Clover Cat Cafe. And I'll change this to maybe, this one. Cool. So I already had like font, or I already had colors and fonts picked out. So it was really easy to update this logo to what I want. But again, you can explore. We have some questions about picking out fonts, which I'll show. Yeah, actually, I'll show right now. If you head to Adobe Fonts, this is a free site that anyone can use. And there are tons of font options and also font pairings. So if you're brand new to fonts, this is a really great resource. You can search recommendations for like font pairings. You can search by a certain style. So if you want something contemporary or something elegant or something, you know, kind of old school or retro, this is a really, really great resource for finding fonts. Okay, so now we have this logo. Let me just save this or rename it so I can find it. Perfect. I'll download this as well. And we had a question about editing banner templates. You can do the same thing. So, oh yeah, the URL for fonts is just Adobe, fonts.adobe.com. I will drop that right in the chat for you. So I am editing based off of this banner template, but you could use any template. We had a question. You can use any template and just resize it to the size that you need here with resize. So I could just do a custom size for the size of the Etsy banner and use any template that I want. But I'm going to use this one and edit this to go along with our cat brand. So I could replace this with the logo that we just made, which I'll do in 1 second. But just to show another really quick way to create something on brand, if I go into the Cat Cafe brand, which is already set up, there's a one-click apply brand option. So this is going to automatically take the colors and the fonts in my brand and apply them to my project. And every time I hit it, gets a new version so I can cycle through. This is looking really cute. I love the way this looks. And then can super easily, it's already the right font, it's already the right color. I can just swap out this, and this is not a real website, but maybe it would be clovercat.etsy.com. Obviously, don't go to any of these sites. They are not real. But that is how easy it is to apply a brand to any project. And now I can replace these photos with, obviously would want to use my own photos to upload them right from my computer. This is an imaginary brand. I don't have any cat photos. So what I can do, if you ever want like additional photos to use as like a background, Express has access to Adobe stock photos, video, and audio. So I can search in Adobe stock photos. Maybe I'll search cat collar and pull in, this is super cute. And just by replacing all of these photos here, let's do this, or maybe switch it up a little bit. Yeah, and replace this last one. So again, you would want to use your own, upload your own shop images, but I'm just going to pull these in for now. Cute. So this is how you can totally remix any of the templates just by swapping out the photos that you want and need right here. And there are no extra licensing fees associated with this. I just saw this question. This is all included in any Adobe Express projects. So you can use the stock assets that are in Express in your projects. They're already licensed and ready for you to use. So just like Firefly, it's, you know, set up to be commercially used for you, so you can use them in your Etsy projects. So last up, one last thing before we move on to social posts. You can also share any of your projects. So if you have an assistant or you have a team and you want to share this, like maybe one of my partners just did a new photo shoot, and instead of asking them to send me all the photos, I want them to put their favorites from the shoot into this project. So heading up to share, I can just share this with anyone. So I can share this project with, I'll just use my coworker, Shell. There are two different options here. So if I want just someone to comment, like maybe I work with I work with someone else and I don't want them to have all of the control. I just want them to like leave me notes, or I can let her edit it. And now when I invite her to edit, she'll have access to this project too, and she can come in and change anything, make any updates, and we can work together on that, which is really nice. I could also turn this into a template. So if I knew I wanted to maybe change out my banner every season and I wanted to swap these out with new seasonal photos, I can also make this into my own template and save it back to my brand. So I'll change the title here to seasonal Etsy banner. And I could create a public template link, which is what we've created with these Etsy templates, so anyone can use them. But if I save them to my brand, I have some other really nice options. I can set up restrictions so that only my brand colors, only my brand fonts can be used. So this is really nice if you're working with like an assistant and you want them to edit this for you, but not change it too much. You can save the template with all of these restrictions so that when it's edited, they will all, those will all be there, which is great. Okay, so we've done editing photos, we've done creating new shop assets and sharing them. And lastly, and I'll get to all of the Q&A questions as well, I want to talk about creating social content. So we all have to make things to promote ourselves. And sometimes, honestly, what I have the hardest time with is thinking up what what my post should be. Like sometimes I just stare at Instagram and I'm like, I don't know what to share. And so something that Express does really well which is why we have all these templates for design, is we also have templates for social calendars. This is new and super cool. You get to this calendar just by heading to the schedule button over here on the left from the homepage. And so now this is a blank calendar, but it's actually not blank because our team has added in these like prompt ideas that are specifically for small business owners. So there are a few different options here of how to set up your calendar. We have events created by Express so that you can toggle on or off holidays. So if you want to remember to do posts, for example, Halloween, we can have these holidays in here that link to holiday templates so that you don't miss anything. And you can also toggle on and off these post suggestions. So again, this is a really nice way to just think of what you actually want to post, and you can feel free to use these suggestions. You can either use them exactly as they are. This is like a 3-day a week posting schedule, or you can use them as ideas just to create your own content. But clicking into any of them, for example, best practices, this is tips on like how to best use your products or different product hacks for your customers. There's an ask me anything post. So whatever whether you want it to be like about your process, about your products, about you as a person, this is a really nice way for your audience to get to know you. Progress updates, so that as you're working maybe towards like a holiday collection or working on a specific product, or maybe you're sourcing different materials for your product, this is a really cool way to keep your audience like going along with you. So, could go into all of these. They're super helpful ways to just like trigger the types of posts that you can make. And again, these are all specifically thought of for small business owners, so there should be something great for all of you to be able to like come up with your content if you are stuck, or you could always just fill in the posts with the schedules that you already have, which is great. So again, to create my social posts, I could start from my own designs. I could start from any of the templates that already exist in Express, but I'm going to keep using these Etsy templates. And this is technically a profile photo template, but I think that there's a really cool way to do like a shop announcement here or like a meet the maker. And so I want to edit this. So heading over to brands in the same way, I want to keep this on brand with my Clover Cat brand. So I'll hit one click brand apply and have a few different options. I actually might go back. I like this. Yeah, I like this one a lot. And I'll delete this logo and add in my own, again, right from this brand kit here, so that it's nice and easy and all in one place. So now this is branded, it's in my colors, but this is not me. And so I want to replace this. I already showed how to replace photos with other photos, but I talked about how Express has a really great way to create like multimedia projects or mixed media projects in one place. So I can also replace this photo here with a video. I have a video of myself just like waving at the camera. I love using this for intro posts. And so I can swap out this photo here for this video, automatically turning this into a video project. So now I have a little timeline here. This is a video. It kept the same, it kept the black and white filter. And to make this look better here, I want to remove the background in the same way that I've done with photos and the same way this template did with photos. We can remove the background from video in Express 2 in just a click. So this is great for creating social content for Instagram Reels, for TikToks, just to be able to make this look exactly the way I want. Maybe I'll size this up a little bit. And now in just a couple seconds, I've taken this static like meet the artist post and turned it into a video. I can keep going. Like this looks maybe a little bit plain. I can add something to the background. I'll head over to media, photos. Maybe I'll make this like a paper texture. Actually, I want to do a video of a paper texture to show how you can layer multiple videos. Yeah, something like this. So it's just like kind of a paper texture. And I want to fill the video and add a blend mode here so that my original video can still be seen. Let me clip this to the right length, make this a little bit shorter. So now I have 2 videos playing on top of each other. I have this cool like texture effect, and I have the other video that I was playing. I can also add audio. So if I want this to be, again, like a social post, ex ex introducing myself, explaining my shop, I can add in some audio as well. So I could upload my own. I could do a little voiceover. And just like photos and video, I can pull from Adobe stock audio as well. So maybe I want to search like a lo-fi song. There are so many cool options here. And then just by clicking, it'll automatically add to the project. I'm not 100% sure if I'm sharing my computer audio or not, but I'll just add it and I can do a little fade in and out. I have this cute post that I just put together in a couple seconds, and I can do the same thing I did before with resize if I want this to be an Instagram story, maybe also a YouTube size, whatever else I may want, Facebook, Pinterest. And then with duplicate and resize, it's going to automatically create my entire campaign for me, which is super cool and a huge time saver. So now I have all of these different versions of my project. I can go in and use them for whatever I want and download. So if I wanted to download this as a flat image, I could still do that as a PNG or a JPEG. I can also download it as a video. Or talking about the calendar, I can schedule this directly to social with the built-in content scheduler that is in Express. So this is, again, a free feature that anyone can use. I can choose any of my social channels here. So maybe I'll choose Instagram and LinkedIn. If you're managing multiple social accounts as well, like maybe you have 2 different Etsy shops, you can add up to 3 different accounts right here. And I'll do a reel. There we go. Oh, my video is a little bit too short. Sorry, Instagram. One last thing that I want to show in the scheduler is that writing captions is one of the hardest things for me. And so Express has a auto caption generator to just give you some ideas of what your post can be, or actually genuinely write your whole caption for you. So if I wanted to say like introducing our new cat toy collection at Clover Cat, because this is a post explaining my new collection. Now I have a brand new caption that I can use as is. I can edit. So we have some hashtags. Maybe I don't want them. And maybe I want this part to be a little bit shorter. I can regenerate that as a shorter caption and insert that. So if you also hate writing captions, this is a really nice feature for you. And now I'll preview it to see what this will look like on the different platforms. If I want to make any changes, I can do that. And I'm going to remove Instagram because it's too short for Instagram, just to show how to add it to the calendar. So I'll draft this and add it for maybe next week. There we go. And add it as a draft. So now if I head back to my calendar, I can see this is my filled out October calendar. But if I head over to the next month, I can see my post here, make any edits I want, move it around as I need. So I can line up my posts under these like topic ideas, or just arrange my content however I want. So that is how to use a template, turn it into an entire post. And to show one last feature before I head to the Q&A, do something like this Instagram story template, which is great. This is super cute. We have all of these different reviews, which is a great type of content to post, letting folks know like that people are loving your shop. There is a brand new animation option in Express. So you can already animate super easily by clicking on anything. And then we have all of these fun animation options. So maybe I'll actually grab all of the stars together and have them do like a little wiggle. That's super cute. So really easy to animate, but something brand new that I love is an automatic animate the entire page at once. So I have 5 different options here. Maybe I'll choose this bloom option. So it's just going to like bloom everything in this template onto the page automatically for me, so that this just adds like a little bit of a dynamic element to whatever graphics I have. And that's a fun way to add some movement to your projects as well. So I'm going to head to the Q&A and keep showing some things off as I answer your questions. Thank you so much for going through that whirlwind with me. There's so much in Express, and I wanted to show off as much of it as I possibly could. Yes. So Valerie's asking, is there a way to create templates that you can sell? There absolutely is. So this one is obviously not a template I could sell because it's straight from our it's straight from our collab. But if this was a template that I created, going up into share, make a template, and then instead of saving it to the brand like I showed before, the very first option here under make a template is create a public template link. So this is going to create a link that you can then share with other people. You can sell, you can do all of those things. So that's super easy to use. If you have a partner who has 2 different Etsy shops, should you create 2 different Adobe Express accounts? No, you can use the same one. So for example, all of your projects will be in the same place. So in your stuff, like this is all of my projects, but you can just create 2 different brands for your 2 different shops. So I have a lot of brands because I use Express all the time. But like, for example, I have the cat brand. I also have this like tea brand here. So you can just make different brands and then you can create your projects that way. So you could actually use the same templates and just rebrand them for each of your different brands. And you can absolutely use the same account if you want to design in one place. Rainbow, let me know. Rainbow Handicraft, let me know what your question is. A question about branding, but I'm not sure what the question is. I think I answered the question about selling templates and the Adobe fonts. Got that. Matthias is asking about the recent versions of Photoshop and Express and the difference. So a lot of a lot of Adobe tools will allow you to do the same thing. It just depends on what you need it for or what you're most comfortable with. So Photoshop has more editing. It does. It's a more powerful tool with more options. If you want those other tools, then Photoshop is the place for you. And if what is available in Express is what you need, then you can use Express because it's easier to use and it still has all of those features. So if you wanted to do some really powerful photo compositing with the Firefly features, you'd probably want Photoshop. But if you just want to do things like remove something in the background or extend your image, then Express has everything you need. So it's really up to how many of those extra editing tools you need. Oh, thank you. We have a question about translating. Let me pull in this as a template with some text. Yes, Adobe Express can translate your projects as well in, I think, 45 different languages. And if this was a multiple page project, can translate all my pages at once. So just click into the languages you want. I'll do French and German and Spanish because I sort of know those. You can even choose a tone of voice. So I'll choose formal because this is an ad, and then translate. So yes, you can translate your projects into other languages, and they're all labeled for what you need. And if you want Adobe Express in another language, I believe based on like the geo where you log in, or you could set in your Adobe accounts so that your own Express has the language that you want. I'm not sure which you were asking for, but should be the answer to both. Can we create an animated? Karen's asking, can we create an animated GIF to show multiple projects in one listing for Etsy? You can create an animated GIF in Adobe Express. I'm not sure if you're asking if that's best practices for Etsy, but you can absolutely create an animated GIF. I showed these quick actions here at the beginning, and one of them is convert to GIF. So you could just create a video like any of the projects that I was making and then convert it into a GIF, and you have a GIF. Yes. I think I showed this. Maybe I didn't. I'll show it right now. If you wanted to, for example, we showed removing objects. If I wanted to insert something, this might look a little silly because because it just might, but I will insert like, maybe I'll insert some sunflowers. Let's try this. I don't know if this will work the way I want it to. I should have made this brush bigger. Actually, let me reset that, make this bigger. I'll try to add some like yellow flowers to this so you can see. Here we go. Let's see what this looks like. Some yellow flowers. So this I think is really great for like desk flat lays. If you have like a little bit of extra space, you just want to add something that looks good. All right, that's decent. Yeah, cool. So you could do it in a project that makes more sense, but just to show that you can add in elements as well as remove them. Answer the difference between, well, the difference between Photoshop and Express, honestly, is that Photoshop is really good for photo compositing. So if you want to deep dive into like lots of compositing tools, that's what Photoshop is great for. And Express is great at doing like a little bit of everything. So if you want to schedule your posts and add video and add animation and add audio, Express is really ideal for that. For folks who want to learn Lightroom, there are tons of tutorials on YouTube. My boss, Terry White, has a ton. Terry Lee White. Feel free to DM me for that info. Here's my social handle again. So yeah, but you can just search Lightroom on YouTube. There are lots and lots and lots of really great tutorials if you want to learn. Yes, you can add your own music audio just by heading to media, audio. There are stock audio, or you can upload your own. When you schedule your post on the calendar, does it automatically post? Yes. So if the post is like, these are all, sorry, this is all for like, this was all for a demo project. So these are just draft posts. But if these were actually scheduled, like the draft was turned off, then they would automatically post. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't prompt you. It just automatically goes live. We have a couple more minutes so we can end on time. Shen's asking, what are the best ways to take product photography so it's an easy journey in Adobe Express? Honestly, you can do anything. You can use your phone. Lots of folks do that. I do it too. You can use a digital camera and then pull them all into your computer or Lightroom and have them all in one like organized place. If you're using kind of the same photos over and over, you could add them as assets into your brand so that you can keep pulling them out, like something like your profile pic, or if you have like hero listings, you can add them that way. But really whatever process works for you, whether it's a physical camera, whether it's your phone, and then you can airdrop them, add them to a Lightroom album. Really, there are tons and tons of options here. Melissa's asking if there's something to make sure the scheduler stays connected as yours disconnects each time you log in. Feel free to DM me. Our scheduler team may have some options. I don't know. Mine does not disconnect as I log in and out. So I'm curious if maybe there's like something that in your account that we could look into. So definitely feel free to DM me. Yes, you can use Adobe Express for Shopify, for anything, for your social posts, for any any website, any ads, anything. You can use these assets here. Shen's asking if I have a Creative Cloud subscription, does that automatically give me Express Premium? Yes, it does. Francis, I'm not sure what you're asking about your 3D art. So feel free to DM me. I'm not sure. Threadsy is asking how much is Express after the Etsy deal. So it depends on where you live. But in the US, it's $9.99 a month or $99 a year. But you can find all of that info on if you just search Adobe Express pricing, there's a whole pricing option. And there is also a version that you can use for free. It just has not quite as many of the, stock images and not all of the features, but you can still use the scheduler. You can still use photo editing. You can still use a lot of things. Yes, the scheduler posts automatically. And yeah, you can use all these images for blogs as well. Oh yeah. Ameline has a great point that Express is definitely set up for digital. And if you wanted to do like really big print projects, then something like Photoshop or InDesign is probably better for that. For those asking for the replay, this will be emailed to you within the next 24 hours. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. Some love for Terry White in the chat. Yeah, he's great. He's taught me everything I know about Lightroom. So definitely if you want more photo editing tools, then he's great for that. And I think I've answered everything. I tried to find all of your questions in the Q&A. If I missed anything, this is all my info at Jordan Danae Ellis. Happy to answer any other questions you may have. Thank you all for spending part of your afternoon or morning or evening with me, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, I hope this makes your digital creating journey a little bit easier. Have fun exploring. Let me know if you have questions or suggestions. And have a really nice day, everyone. Thank you so much.